a blessed Wednesday to us. Trying to take a look back when we started the season of Lent, today marks the 36th day of the so-called 40-day preparation, which we call Quaresma or Lent. Now, it is in this context now that as we are nearing the very heart of our celebration towards we are all going, we are beautifully reminded of a particular personality which is actually the center of today's first gospel reading, the discussion with Jesus and the Jews who believed in him. And actually, we are also taken into that whole conversation because we too do profess that we are children of Abraham, because Abraham is the father of the faith. But what is so significant about the centrality of Abraham in this context here is that his journey towards the promised land, towards the land that was promised to him, although he was not able to actually occupy it in the sense that it was the later generations that would be occupying it on his behalf, he was able to live there. But the journey that he did was so tremendous. It was full of travails. Daghan kayong mga pagsulay. There are even uncertainties involved. And this is a very beautiful clue or cue to our reflection as we look back when we started the season of Lent. How was our journey through the season of Lent? And how have we been responding to it? Okay, and part of the consideration is the very effect which we still are experiencing because of the pandemic. But what is significant here is that Abraham, as the letter of Paul to the Romans would say, hoping against hope, he was able to practically own or receive the fulfillment because he faithfully followed through thick and thin. Mausad na atong perspective karon. And one of the significant dimensions of this going through the journey despite the uncertainties is always God's saving presence. And when we talk about saving presence, nindot kayo ni ipahilo na sa atong first reading karon, no? Why is it? Have you ever asked yourselves when God sending an angel saved the three young men in the furnace, why were not the three men brought out of the furnace? Ngano man nga natangtang ang ilahang mga kadina, pero gapadayon pa maghapon sila glakaw sa kalayo, together with the fourth person, with the angel of God or with the son of, as the text say, looks like the Son of God. Ngano wa man sila hawasa sa kalayo? Have you ever asked that question? Because, the beautiful theme and tone of that understanding is that when we are being freed from our suffering, we have to take the first step, understand the first step, that in order to be freed from our sufferings, God has to suffer with us first. That is what he declared to Moses when he told him, I have heard the cry of my people. I have suffered with them. Jesus also suffered with us. That's the reason why it is called compassion. He is with us in all these stages of our journey, in all these years of our lives. That's why understanding to be freed, to be saved from our concerns and from our sufferings, it's always a good thing to note that before we are taken out of that suffering, God enters into that suffering first to make us known, to make it known to us that He is really among us. Nga dili na ingon nga oy tangtangon tikaw, na ako diri na aka diha. God immerses Himself into the very situations that we are. That is why journeying in our faith is He journeys with us. In everything and in every experience that we have, there is always the presence of Him who loves us, who does not just look from the heavens, as the responsorial psalm says, the song of the three young men, but He is really right within us, among us, and He is for us. That's why we have to thank God for this great occasion and for having reached this far in our disciplines. I don't know kung naaba mo yung mga nasipyat, no, since we started the season of Lent. But call it part of the experience, because that is something that will always remind us that we are not alone after all. Amen.